Hi, I'm Benita Cantieni, the founder of CANTIENICA Body in Evolution. This is a short introduction into the principles of my method. If you know where your sit bones are and what your sacrum is, it will be easier for you to follow the first classes if you never encountered CANTIENICA method before. I'll show you some slides. The first and most important principle is completing your postural erection. And I mean that literally, really array your bones to the utmost stretch, the utmost extension. In our society, we are used that we have to shrink when we grow older, and that's just not true. That's a fairy tale, and we all follow it because everyone else does it. So today you reverse that belief. You do not shrink. Gravity is in fact the best friend of our bodies. Gravity is the matrix for our bones, ligaments, fascia, sinew, tendons, and muscles. So think yourself tall, 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 literally from the heel. You think your feet off the floor. I will instruct you to imagine that you have a cloud underneath your heel. Then align your lower leg. Imagine to pull your leg up off the floor, align your upper leg, align your pelvis, and then build up the column of your spine really as a column from bottom up. We think the coccyx up high in the air, that's the tailbone, and then the sacrum is, in my system, the first and biggest vertebra. It's actually 5 vertebrae connected over the millions of years. It's still a vertebra. And from there, we build 24 vertebrae as a column from bottom up to the crown. When you try it, you feel a difference right away. You can think yourself starting at the top. You can think yourself from up down. You start to count the cervical vertebra and you think them down, and then it's the thoracic spine, think it down, the lumbar spine, pelvis, sink down, and it's going to make you smaller right away. Do it the other way around. Think yourself up, coccyx up, sacrum up, and then all the vertebrae up to the head of your skull. The opposite is shown here in very simplified manner. You probably recognize the pattern of your own posture in one of these two guys. The one to the left tilts the pelvis forward. The knees are far too much up front. They will eventually get arthrosis, bone damages here where the bones rub at each other. And then the spine gets round because if the pelvis tilts forward, the chest has to tilt forward. And usually the head follows this forward tilt as well. On the right, you have the opposite, pelvis tilting backward. We always check the tilt from the sacrum, from the tip of the sacrum. This is tilt backward. An arched back is the result. The head falls backward And here the pelvis and the chest sort of open away from each other. It means that here the structures, ligaments, tendons, sinews, and muscles, and even the bones are shortened, and here they are overstretched. Opposite here on this guy, at the back of the spine, all muscles are overstretched, and everything on the tummy side is shortened. Now, what we want is really that nothing goes on the account of something else, that all structures at the back, at the front side of the body, and at the flanks, at the sides, have the same length, a basic stretch that's vital for the health of all these skeletal structures. This is another way to show the same principle. It's even more simplified. Here you have the ideal. The pelvis and the chest are absolutely centered and stay above each other on a long stretched spine. Here they tilt away from each other at the front and here at the back. Everything starts with the feet and the proper posture of the feet, the proper position. We want the bones of the foot standing parallel. When you look from up down onto your feet, they show a slight V position. That V position is very individual. I will help you to find your perfect position. And from there, the leg axis runs up in a perfect way. The ankles ideally stand in one line. You can check the lines on your heel. You have fine little lines in your skin. When they are parallel like this, your leg is good, stands good, and all the joints on your legs will have airbags, we say, will have leeways. There is enough cartilage, everything is healthy. There is enough cartilage liquid. When these lines run parallel, horizontally, the line in the hollow of your knee runs parallel too. If you check in front of a mirror how your lines run and they don't run properly, don't worry. It will eventually and faster than you think adjust through the exercises. If the lines would run up from left up to the right, that means that you sink onto your foot too much to the inside. The heels on your shoes are probably thinner here. The other way around, from running from the outside of the heel up to the inside means the opposite, that your shoes will wear and tear on the outside of your heel. Having said this, the impact of aligning your feet and your leg axis in an ideal way is big on the hips, on the pelvis. Here is we illustrated the ideal way. If your pelvis stands like that, the neck of your thigh runs sort of horizontally in the most favorable angle possible. The knees, the upper leg and the lower leg are ideally above each other with a well joint. The foot is in shape and the axis is straight. Here you have the very common X-shaped legs. They are not really by nature X-shaped. They're really losing their centering through the habits you inhibit now in your body. The pelvis tilts forward, the accetabuli. This is the ball of the upper thigh, and that's situated in something we call hip pan. And here, hip pan and upper leg ball really fit into each other. Here they don't. This hip is sooner or later going to develop arthrosis. Here you have sort of a typical O-shaped leg. The pelvis tilts too much forward, and there is a lot of stress and tension in the acetabuli. Most probably this hip will widen, these pelvis bones will sort of move out further and further, and then as a result the iliosacral joints are too tight, there is no leeway, no leverage, and that will create bone damage. And here you can see it, just looking at it. This is not the healthy way to position a knee and the kneecap. So what you do in every single exercise, you start at the bottom and you work your consciousness, your awareness, your alignment up. Then if we straighten the spine, we straighten especially the spinal cord. The spine itself always has an uneven run on the back. These processes are different on every vertebra, and no two people, no two human beings are alike. We are all different. So we try to find the ideal positioning of the spine through stretching the spinal cord to let it run up straight right through the head. So when I say straighten your spine, I actually mean straighten the spine in a way that enables and allows your spinal cord to run up straight. The spinal cord is very important. It's the factory for everything we are. So now we have built a skyscraper from bones. A skyscraper needs levels, stories, horizontal structures that really hold it together. We have two extremely important, there are many, many, many levels in the body, but I call the main levels this guy. It's called levator ani. It's the innermost layer of your pelvic floor. And believe me, you don't reach that guy with Kegel exercises. You never will. It's much deeper in the body, and it actually carries the organs. If this one up here doesn't hold, it holds all your organs. That's too much for the poor guy. So we have another very important level, and it's the thoracic diaphragm. All levels running horizontally through the body are called diaphragms. Therefore, I really specify this important guy as thoracic diaphragm. So in here, you have the intestines, the colon, uterus as a woman, and then further up, we have the stomach, the kidneys, bladder. It's all in the levator ani. And above the thoracic diaphragm, we have the heart, very important, and the lungs. So this level is supposed to hold everything that happens up here. I mean, breathing has to stay up here in the lungs, coughing, sneezing, and laughing. So if you know what incontinence is, if you maybe suffer from urine incontinence, here is the solution. These two guys really have to work together. Sneezing, coughing, laughing has to stay up here, and then this levator ani, this innermost pelvic floor layer, is capable of holding the organs up high and healthy. This too, you will be instructed many times to either pull the sit bones together, these bones down here, and when you pull these sit bones together, something fantastic happens. You pull these guys together, and like a jumping towel, like a trampoline, the upper bones open and the pelvic floor, the innermost organ lifter, I like to call it, is being pulled up. It's very simple biomechanic procedure. You pull the sit bones or the accetabuli together. This is the hip pan where I push my finger in right now. This is the sacrum. Here it's made of plastic and it's not flexible. We have a wonderful joint down here between sacrum and coccyx. This is the sacrum, the biggest vertebra, and these are the vertebrae, and these little see-through things stand for the discs. When this spine is aligned and all the discs have enough space and get nourished by this erection and by this basic stretch in all the muscles I will show you in a second, these discs stay sane and healthy through your life, and I hope you will live for 100 years at least. The chances are big. So here back with the musculature. These two guys are the psoas muscles. These are the major, the big psoas muscles, and the two thin lines here and here are the minor psoases. This psoas has a bad reputation, and that's only because in bad posture, we really play a foul game with the poor psoas. Now, in my system, these psoases are the innermost back muscles and the only muscles that combine, interconnect the thigh and then run diagonally through the whole body. And here are the masters of the lumbar universe. If you get to know this psoas, you really learn that by aligning it, by thinking it from the thighs up to the diaphragm, you can really stretch the muscles on the lumbar spine. You can even stretch the hernia. Very important if you have a record with herniated discs. Here is the solution. Then, by having said all this, in this truly arrayed bones without pressure anywhere, you activate these wonderful guys. They are called autochthonous musculature, and for a long time, classic anatomy, classical physiology believed that these guys could not be trained on purpose. That is true. If you think yourself up, down, then all these things don't have any tension or any stretch in themselves. As soon as you array your bones, these guys get busy. You activate them. By elongating your spine, you activate, these are over 100 little muscles running vertically on the lower spine, running also diagonally and horizontally on the thoracic spine, and really doing a great job holding up your head. These guys are wonderful helpers. They're called longitudinal ligaments. They have been discovered recently. The fascia science has really brought these guys to light, because when a human being dies, these structures here, these ligaments, get brittle right away. So pathologists had no idea how thick, how lifeful, how juicy these ligaments are as long as we live. So this one I call the inner ligament. There is one at the back running up. This one is fairly difficult to reach, and there are two ligaments running up the side of the spine, connecting all vertebrae with each other. You have one ligament running up inside. You have one ligament in profile on the right, on the left. These three are extremely important. And you have a ligament running up the front of your body. So I will instruct you to activate these ligaments. And it's very important that you know these illustrations, because your body follows your imagination, your visualization. If you visualize these ligaments, you will right away feel them. When I've discovered this, it really amazed me. Meanwhile, it seems so logical to me that I am sorry I only discovered it when I was about 47. So look at these illustrations and imagine these guys and let them really assist you in your alignment and in your stretching. You learn how to look anew at your shoulders. When we say shoulder, we think of all this, and many people really think that the shoulders are one solid block. You know, people pull up their shoulders and pull them forward, and the posture then deteriorates right away. So you will learn in my classes how to define the wonderful structures. This big thing is the scapula or shoulder blade. You all know it, it's on the upper back. This is the clavicle, the collarbone, and this is the upper arm ball, and this is the upper arm. Now, what you learn in the beginning, the instructions will sound weird and complicated. Just imagine that you let go this poor guy. You let it sink into your armpit. The armpit is really the mother of your arm. We have this wonderful glenoid joint, that's what it's called, and that's the raven's peak. And these are important ligaments. And now, if you stuck all these bones together to one shoulder, sooner or later you will have problems. Frozen shoulder, morbus Sudeck. You can tear the biceps tendon that runs through here. You can develop bone disorders on all these edges. Now, imagine your shoulder, a structure like this, and your shoulder will function beautiful all through your life. Last but not least, the tongue. The tongue is a wonderful, it's the most powerful muscle we have in our body. It's the strongest muscle. It works most because we do a lot with our mouth. So I discovered a very simple way to activate the root of the tongue. So it's actively in your mouth. And by doing this, you activate the core muscles inside the body. And with core muscles, I even mean the muscles you have around the esophagus. That's the pipe that swallows, drinking, eating, and the pipe you breathe with. They are really packed into very strong pulsating muscles. Now, as you listen to me, try to say in a very relaxed manner, ng, 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 ng. You will feel right away that your tongue sort of comes up like this and doesn't lay in the mouth like a dead snail. And by doing this ng, you activate this muscle. It's called styloglossus, and it connects the lower jaw with the spine and the skull. It's a wonderful tool to stop grinding. I was a terrible grinder. My teeth show it. Tinnitus is influenced positively by using these muscles, and even snoring. You can even stop your snoring or lessen it a lot by really activating the musculature in your mouth. So then this activating of the tongue helps you to bring the head into a beautiful, perfectly upright position. I have a rule of thumb that when you're upright, the angle between chin and neck should be a right angle, 90 degrees. When your head tilts forward, the muscles on the neck get overstretched. The bones get hurt. They rub on each other. This causes tension in your neck, on top of the shoulders, and the muscles and the skin sag in the front. If you hold your head falling backward, your voice changes, as you can hear, and you overstretch all the structures at the front. The neck is overstretched, and when you hold it normally, you really have sagging skin here and severe lines. And at the same time, everything gets stuck at the back. The upper vertebrae, the atlas and the axis, get really severely hurt. Nerves can pinch. Tension headache has very often the cause in this posture, and also migraine. Even tinnitus can be influenced positively if the head stays at its ideal position biomechanically, not causing any pressure or tension or rubbing or tearing anywhere. Thumb of rule for the skull in everyday life: if the chin line sort of forms a right angle with the neck, it can be completely right. You just take the top of your chin and go back with your hand. And if this is more or less a 90-degree angle, you're doing a good job. So we always start at the bottom at the feet and we run up to the crown, and we call the crown is up here, this spot where the spinal cord would run through, if it would run through. You will feel it. I will make you feel your crown. Thanks for watching. And watch it again, because visualization really helps. It's the direct connection to your body. These were the basic principles of my vivatomy. I call my system vivatomy and not anatomy, because I dissect living people in their uniqueness. I dissect with observation, with touch, with, you know, finding out what does the person do with the body, why is it this way, and far more important, how can you get out of malposture in a good posture. By the time I will add more videos, in one of the next ones, I will talk about pain, because pain is not like pain. Not every pain is actually a pain. Some pains are just working sensations in your body. Others are an alarm. Please change your posture, do this differently. And if you have a challenging issue to dissolve in your posture, your body will talk a rich language. See you in my class. Bye.